Hey guys, welcome back. So as you can see, I've got translucent on my workbench. I have got, actually this is the last of the translucent I have. And I've got 1, 2, maybe 4 of the Cernit, which actually is a little softer than my Sculpey translucent. So I went ahead and ordered more of this, but these are like rock hard. And so I figured I'd come in here and use them before I lose them, basically. So there's a little bit of Cernit on here. So I thought I'd make some ghost flowers, but with a little bit of color into them. So let me show you what I made already. I've been working on these all day just to get rid of the translucent. So we have some yellow ghost flowers, some purple, and I love the blue. So I'm just going to show you how to make one of these, which you probably already know. It's just making a flower, but with a colored translucent center. And then I'm going to make a veneer. I just don't quite know how to make that one yet. So for now, I'm just going to get a paintbrush and just kind of smear this across. This is a really dark leaf, and I don't like that color at all. I think a limeade would be pretty because it's just such a bright green. So if I add a little bit of the bright green to that, we might get a little bit of an apple green or something for the leaf. Well, still a little dark. Let's see, what else do I have? I don't think a mojito would be smart, or a pistachio. How about lettuce? That's more of a yellow. Alright, we're going to add more of the limeade. So I'm not looking for too much. I just want a little bit of a tint. So that should be good enough. So basically I'm just going to let that dry up a little bit. Throw that in the water. And this is all Pinata ink. This is a Senorita it's a Senorita Magenta. So I wanted it a little bit more pink. So if it doesn't come out quite pink when I put this through the pasta machine, I will add a little bit more pink. I'm just praying that doesn't, yeah, see, it just breaks up when it hits the pasta machine. It's just so dry. I think with the pandemic, all of us were buying clay when we could because you couldn't get so many colors. So whenever a color came through, you know, I was buying them. And that was stupid because I don't make enough to justify buying so much. So now I figure I better start using it all up. I just checked the site that I order my clay from, which is sculpeyproducts.com. It's $1.90, alright, for a 2-ounce thing. So it's pretty cheap. But when you get to shipping, it looks really expensive because like the shipping cheapest option is $22. But if you put in the notes that you want it flat rate, then they'll get as much as they can in one box for what, $11, $12? They used to have regional boxes, which were awesome. They were just priority regional boxes. And that for like a medium flat rate was only $8. But I've noticed that the the USPS decided to stop carrying those. So obviously they were losing money with people shipping them regional. So now I have to go flat rate, regular, medium, and that's gone up too. Alright, so I'm going to see if I can throw this through the machine now that we kind of got it soft. Alright, so that one's a little bit easier. We're going to run that through, obviously, a few more times so that it's all nice and blended. Same with this. So it is turning a pink, so I think we're okay with this one. So this is the color that it's going to be, just all covered. So let me go ahead and hit pause, get all these nice and combined, and I'll be right back. Alrighty, so I put them through the machine. I love that pink. It looked so red, but boy, when it came through, it gave it like a hot pink color. Love it. So now we're just going to roll both of these up. And I'm going to make this flower a little different than I made the other ones. I just want to see if it'll be a little easier. So right now all I'm doing is just condensing all of these to get all the air bubbles out. And yeah, I got a little bit of pink on the end. It's picking it up off the table here. But you won't see it in the grand scheme of things. Okay, and I'm going to want these even, because this is going to be a leaf. Okay, so that's going to be our leaf. And even though I conditioned this, it's still hard as a rock. So I know we're going to have air bubbles in here, but we're going to do the same with this. And we're just going to roll it and condition it. And just push it into a little cylinder shape. But I think I'm going to put the stems, or pretty much stems of the flower on before I wrap it in white. I'm going to see if that makes it a little easier for me. Alright, let's see if I can get this little more round here. Doing it this way gives me an even cylinder on both sides until I push it down. Alright, so I think that's perfect. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to use white. I'm going to wipe my hands, obviously, since they were in the alcohol ink. Got it on my fingers. And I'll wipe down the pasta machine as well. Okay, so let me grab some white. And since these are really, really small, I'm just going to make the inside of probably at a number 5. I don't think we need it thicker because of how small these canes are. So I'm just going to run all these through and condition them a little bit. Okay. And I'm going to run this at a number 3. I'm going to see how thick that would be. I'm going to go to number 4. Okay, so what I'm going to do first so this isn't going to go all the way to the other side, but I'm going to cut it that way because you guys know that I have a problem with depth. And every time I cut them, see, it's never in the middle on the other side. I don't know what my problem is, but it's always like that. Could be because I'm blind and I can't see over the camera very well. But it's just really hard for me. So I'm not going to worry about the mess I made. But see, I'm lining it up so that it's right at the inch, right at the inch, right at the top and the bottom. And what I'm trying to do is go over that center line like that. And that's what we're going to leave it. So again, I'm not going from the top to the bottom. I'm going to cut it about 3/4 of the way. Okay. See, again, that looks like the center, but this doesn't. And I don't know if it's because you squish part of it. I honestly don't know. It gets very aggravating, but I'm going to leave it alone, you know? A flower's not perfect, right? Although I haven't seen a bad flower. So I'm going to cut it a little diagonal like that. And again, I'm just cutting off a little strip. Okay, so that's how it went. So we're going to cut it about right there. I probably could go a little higher, so I'm going to look real quick. Nope, that's good. Okay, we're going to put that back like that. And then we're going to do that again on this side. I'm just kind of going out a little bit. So I think about right there. I might have enough. Okay, so we got that done. Do it any way that's easy for you. This is just the way I do it. If you can find an easier way to do it, do it. Trust me. Okay, so now we're going to take this. I'm going to leave some of this for the leaf because I'm going to have the same size. But I'm going to run this down at a number, probably a number 1. So that'll be my second setting on my machine. Okay. Yeah, I know I don't have it at the same size on the other side. Hopefully I won't need to get to that far. And if I do, I will figure it out when I get there. It's just typical with me, isn't it? So I'm going to cut it right there. Don't sweat the small stuff. Okay, so let's just get a nice clean edge. Just put it right against it. There we go. Okay, so there is our flower. That's done. Okay, so I'm going to set that aside. And now we're going to come in here and do our leaf. So I've got this at a number 4. I'm going to put the center at a number 2. Okay, but the center you're going to go last. So what you're going to do on this is just cut out little strips. So this you kind of want to make sure it's round. And it'll help in the final one. But it can start out round, and once you put that blade to it, it turns a whole different shape. And this I'm not really worried about, like the flower. So I'm going to put one right there. And I'll clean up the edges later. Okay, so there's one. Yes, I'm thinking here, guys. So that's a leaf if I want to shape it into a leaf and pull the leaves. But I want this already shaped so that I can just turn it over and it's a leaf without me doing any pulling. So on that way, you're going to kind of go like diagonal. So if this is your center, don't cut it like that. Cut it diagonal. And it really doesn't matter because the way I did it before probably would have worked. It's mainly how you're going to cut that center. So I'll show you in a minute. Yeah, we'll go right there. Okay, I'm going to do one more. I think this I did at a 4. This was my center strip, but I'm going to have to remake that one. Okay, so we have 3 nice little branches right there. Not going to worry about that. Okay, so when you cut your center, cut it diagonal a little bit. So about right there should be good. And on this, I'm going to cut it at a 3 or a 2. Let's try a 2. And then this one, I'm going to also cover it. I don't know if that's too thick of a stem. No, I'm going to leave it. Okay, I'm also going to wrap it in white as well as I did with the flower. Because all this is going to be translucent. So actually I have a little piece. I put it on some black clay just to try it. Okay, so basically, I don't know what this is going to look like when it bakes up. So that's why I've got a thick outside, because you're going to see that more than anything. And that's going to be the same on this leaf as well. So I have never made, I don't think I've ever made a ghost flower or cane where I used color in the translucent. So I'm not quite sure how this is going to turn out. I'm thinking it'll be just fine. And I have an idea of what I want to make with them. So we're going to see how this works. Alright, we just need a little more clay. And yeah, I always start out with a little and grab more and more than the other way around. Probably be easier if I worked big and put the rest away, but I always go little. Okay. So I'm going to put this at the top. And I want a nice clean edge, so that's why I kind of overlapped it. I'm going to cut right there. And we'll take that little piece out. Trying to save the white, so that's why I'm a little higher than the actual piece. Because I don't want it mixed with green. this one. I've got a couple pieces here. It's kind of like peeling an apple. Okay, so now I got both of those. I'm going to go ahead and reduce those, and then I'll come back after they're reduced. Alrighty, so we're back. Had a phone call, and of course, when you're making a cane, it's not good. I only wanted these 1 inch in length, or 1 inch for each one. I ended up doing 1.5 inches. But while I was talking on the phone and doing this, as you can see, it kind of messed up my orientation here. So that's never a good thing. So when that happens, just make sure you got them both lined up. And I'm just going to make 5 petals. Yeah, it's miserable today. Yesterday was the most beautiful day the last couple of days, and then today it just got bad. How's that? I don't want to say a cuss word, but it really did go down the drain today, and so the son and the husband had to drive back to work, and they encountered a lot of rain and stuff like that. No snow. So, of course, they both call me to let me know what the weather's like and how miserable it is out there while I'm comfortable inside the house. Okay, so I am not going to make a separate center. I'm probably just going to add a little bit of white. Maybe. I may not even put anything on there. I think it might be smart, though, to just do a little strip of white. I don't need a whole lot. So let's get this even. There's about 1.5 inches. Go a little bit more because this is solid and this is not right there. Okay, and I did the leaf. I'll have to show you that. So there's 2 and 3. Perfect. Okay, so they're all touching. And they're all touching on this side. Okay, so now I'm going to pack them as usual with translucent. I did this a lot earlier. So as you can see how wide it is on like the sides. You know, you got a real thin strip and it gets real wide. So if you do this and make it into a triangle and push down while you're pinching, then you'll get a nice wide bottom. And I know that I don't have enough. Again, I was supposed to only make a 5-inch one. So now I need this to go to 7.5 inches. Or 1.5, 3, 6, 7.5. So it isn't going to happen, but I'm going to have to cut up a little more. But if you push down on it, and you'll get this nice little flat piece that'll fill that back really nice. And I got dog hair, of course. So I have to make 2 more. So I will probably do that off camera. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pack in between the flowers here. And then I will take some translucent and I'm going to wrap it. But instead of wrapping it at a number 0, which is what I normally do, I'm going to wrap it just at a 2. Then we got to figure out how I'm going to use it, and hoping the idea I have will work. And this is the last translucent I have of white translucent from Sculpey. So I wonder how interesting this will be by using Sculpey translucent and using one piece with Cernit, because I don't have a choice. So I'm going to grab some Cernit here. And this wasn't too bad as far as being hard. It's hard, but I think it's a little better than the Sculpey today. So I just want a 1.5 strip. Push down on that. I might have to make it a little wider. I'm going to see what it looks like when I get it up. Yeah, we're going to go a little more. And yeah, this was not conditioned at all. So let me go ahead and finish this off camera. So anyways, you're basically just packing in the sides. Make sure that your petals are facing towards the center so they don't get all sideways on you. And I'm just going to wrap it, and I'll come back after I wrap it. Or I'm just going to come back after I reduce it, and then we'll put it together. So I'll be right back. Okay, so let me show you the leaf that I've got. So there is our leaf, and then there's the pink that we just did. So what I'm going to do is I took a strip of each color, red, yellow, but I don't know if I'll use the purple. And I'm going to bring these down really small. So this is going to take a few minutes. So I'm going to pause again. And I'm going to see if I can try and put this together in a veneer. It would be nice if I can kind of square these up as I go. So we'll see how that works. So I know what I want to do with them. I'm just not quite sure how to execute it. So we'll go to 3 inches. We'll get 2 of each. Okay, so I'm just going to show you what I'm doing. I don't think I want to put them together, but I may be able to do that. So I'm going to do that on all these, and I'll be right back. Okay, so we've got them all cut up now. Ah, doesn't that look like a lemon? In a way, it does look like a lemon. I'm going to have to make a lemon cane, because that looked really cute. Alright, so we're just going to kind of, I don't know, put the leaves anywhere. I might end up cutting one more of the leaf cane. I wanted it to go in an opposite direction here. We have the purple. Put another leaf like right there. Okay. And we're going to do a yellow. So I'm going to do a blue over here. And I don't know, maybe a purple over here. It's not quite square, is it? So what do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I guess I could go 2 across. I'm going to use this one right here. So what do we got? We have 1, 2. If I can get about 3 or 4 more, I think that would be really nice. I don't know what this looks like, and I know that I'm missing a little white off the top there. So I'm going to pull this as much as I can, kind of look at it. Alright, so I have 1, 2, 3, 4.5. So that'll give me 3. I'm going to see if I can, oops, go to 4. Well, that didn't help. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of round it off the tops a little bit. It's a little flimsy, as you can see. Cut a little bit off of that. I'd like to get a couple more. Alright, I'm going to take these apart. Oh, I don't know if I want to use one more just to help me out here, but I really don't want to. So I'm going to try and do it this way somehow. Right? 2 yellows, 2 pinks, 2 purples. And I think if we do it this way, I thought I had 8. I do. Alright, well, we're going to try and squish this together. I'll put that one right there. I'm not liking how this is ending. So I may end up taking a couple more flowers. I'd really like to just leave it like this, but okay, so we're going to leave that alone right there. So we're going to leave these 2 alone. I'll put the blue in there. I'll put the purple there. And a blue right there. Yeah, I may end up having to cut this does not want to play nice here. Okay, that's the same side as the other one, so I'm going to turn that a little bit. Excuse me. Alright, we're going to do one more blue, I think. Okay, I'm going to have to get rid of this side just a little more. Just a tad bit. Oh, still missing a little bit. Okay. Oh well, what are you going to do? Try to keep them all away from each other, and the blue ends up, I mean, if I put a purple there, it's going to be purple. If I put a yellow there, it'll still be a yellow. So we're just going to leave it just like this. Okay, and I'm going to put a nice big leaf right there. And I'm going to do one more leaf and put it towards the side. And that will hopefully make that more of a square. All right, we're gonna have to grab more leaf. I think I only need just a tiny 1/2 inch one. So now the flowers are the same size, so it wouldn't be bad if we made one big leaf, right? Gonna kind of round it out a little bit. And I'm just gonna do it like that. Okay. Do I want to put one more there in the corner? Why not, right? So if I make that, let's just put one more in the corner. So we're gonna do the same. I'm only doing it this way because I'm hoping it'll be easier to lay it all down instead of having me cut out every single flower and thin enough, because that's where it'll be the hardest, is getting these thin enough. Okay, so where did I say that was gonna go? All right, just like that. Okay, and that'll square that off. So now, well, I don't know what I did with this guy, but he's all twisted around, isn't he? And he's stuck, so there is nothing I can do about that. So I could either leave it alone just like this, or I could reduce this. See, there is nothing protecting these flowers, so these might end up turning into some weird shapes. So again, I could either leave it like this, or I can cut it to where I can make it in 4s. I don't know if I want to do that. So we're just going to leave it just like this. Okay, and then I'm going to go grab some clay and some hoop guides. And we're going to see if we can make this into a pair of earrings. Okay, so there's the cane that we made. Yeah, see, we lost a little bit of that, but that's okay. Okay, so let me grab some clay and I'll be right back. Alright, so as usual, I'm taking you on a journey that I've never been on before. Now, obviously, this is really big. But I'm afraid to go really small here. So part of me just wants to cut this in half, which I'm going to do. And I'm going to set that aside. Just in case I accidentally reduce it too much. So where are we now? We're about 1 inch. I'm just going to go 1/4 of an inch smaller than this. And I rolled out a log in a peacock blue. Okay, we are almost there. This has got to come down a little bit. Ooh, almost dropped it. Okay, I'm going to try and even it out a little bit. And we're going to see how this works. So this is pretty much even. So I've got these hoop things that I make. I don't have them listed because I don't know if anybody wants them, I guess, basically. So I haven't done anything with them. Okay, that's a huge earring. I want to be able to make 2. Okay, and this just needs a little smaller. So, yes, I'm trying to figure out where to cut this. Okay, so that's a little shorter, but this is a little thicker. So I think I can do this. Sometimes it takes a little bit of manipulating. So this is about 3 inches. So I'm going to go just a little longer, and I'm going to cut off this little end part right there. Okay, so now we're at 3. This is a little bigger. Okay. All right, so the big thing on this is I want to kind of put the earring post inside. I don't like putting them on the outside and gluing them because I don't think they really hold very well. So I'm going to try and do that now by just taking a little strip off and a little bit of liquid clay or Bacon Bond. I'm using Bacon Bond. Okay, I'm just going to do that. Put those back together. Hopefully those won't get in my way. And again, this may not work. So now we're just going to do a really thin piece. Well, that's thin, but I want it to go all the way through the whole thing and not just a piece of it. Okay, so so I did go a little too small, so we can fix that. All we're going to do is stretch it out a little more, which is a good thing because then we'll get our end nice and stuck on there. So we're at 3 inches. So I'm gonna go like 3 1/4. Okay, he does not want to stick. Okay, so let me see if this will work a little better. I'm gonna start it on this end. Okay. You could bake it first if you wanted, but you'd have to bake it in the shape of being round, and then you would literally probably have to do this one by one. And normally when I make bangle earrings, I do put them on one by one. Or not bangle earrings, bangle bracelets. I put them on one by one. So again, this is just a little bit of a technique that I would think would be a little bit easier. And then whatever's left over, I can put one flower over it and not worry about it. It'll all make sense pretty soon, I promise. Okay, so now this is going to roll thin again. And if you want a little bit of blue showing through, there's nothing wrong with that either. Okay, so you're basically just doing what you normally would do when you're making a veneer, and just rolling it until it's all pretty much flat and you don't see any areas that are bad. There's a couple areas right here. Okay, so there we go. I don't know how well you can see this. Let me just show you. My lighting in here is still really bad. Okay, but now you got just a whole floral earring here. Okay, and it's all smooth. Okay, so now we're going to straighten out this end piece. And do I have one of my stud helpers in here? Just so that we can flatten that tip a little bit better. Let me hit pause and try and find one. Okay, so we're back. And there's my little stud helper. And I'm just basically pushing it down so that it stays nice and flat. And on this, I think the best thing for me to do is do this on whatever I'm baking it on. What I'm wondering though, is this going to flatten one side? Because unfortunately you can't put this plastic thing in the oven. So it's got to be enough to go past the ear. So I'm going to cut it right there. Okay. So that's going to be our earring. And I want to make sure that this little metal piece is sticking straight like that. Okay. And then I'm going to slowly take this out. Okay, so we have one. Now, I'm going to leave this in here so I make the same exact size. So it's going to be cut at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on the 7th one. So we'll leave that there for now. And we're going to do, what was it, 4 strips? So we're going to do 4 more strips here. There's 1. Wow, that one actually came out pretty darn good. Make sure that side is nice and even, because that's going to go right there on the end. There's 2. Might as well just cut them all out. I'm going to have the end at the same spot. And if you see, I'm kind of overlapping just a little bit. All right, this has got to go a little bit wider. And then I just need a little strip right here. Okay, so I got a little bit of blue showing right here. But this is going to be the inside of the earring. Okay, so now we're just going to do the same thing we did before. Move all that around. And now my main objective is to make sure it's going to be the same thickness as that one. So right now, it just looks maybe a tad, I don't know, that actually looks pretty even. So we're just going to kind of play around here. Let me get that ear stud. Boy, I work in such a mess. I really do. I destroyed the area lickety-split. Okay, and I'm going to look at all of this, and you can't even tell that I really put an extra strip on there. So that makes it really cool. So I am just going to put both fingers down here. Make sure I've got enough pressure on both ends, and that way I know that they're all the same size. Okay, I'm going to fix this now, and I've got dog hair on my hand that will not come off. Okay, so again, I might have to make 2 of these. Okay, so I can see that right there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Again, we're at the 7th. Okay, so we're going to make sure this is sat perfectly on there. and then pull it off. Okay, I'll do the same on this one. So there's the end. Okay, so we want it to stick to our tile. It wants to just plop all over the place. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And I used the back of the blade. So I'm going to go just a little longer and redo that. Okay. So again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Use the right side of the blade. And there you go. So now we're going to pull that off. Those should be even. I know they don't look it on the board. They are even. So I think this one just kind of moved. Being nice to be able to find a way to bake those. So that they stay in that position. But those are both the same sizes. So I'm going to go throw these in the oven and we'll see you in about an hour and we'll show you how they look. So I'll be right back. Alright guys, well everything's in the oven. So I thought I would take a little bit more of what we got working. And you know how I am. I don't want to waste a bunch of the veneer. I don't know how these are going to look. So this is probably perfect right here. So I've got this cut at a number 2 on the pasta machine. You know, I have that bigger piece. So you know what? Just in case I want to make more earrings, I'm going to use the bigger slab on this. And I don't know what it is with me lately, but I keep grabbing the wrong side of the blade. Okay, on the bottom I accidentally made it a little too thin, or too thick. So I'm just going to do that a little bit, thin that out. And then yes, I will overlap it a little bit. And this was just one piece of, one slice of those flowers that I made. So I could make a huge, big cane like this. I've got so much of it left over. Kind of broke it here. And I was actually thinking of putting this on both sides. Alright, that might not work. So I'm going to put that back over here. And again, see my other blades, they're different on the top. They've got kind of like a lip to it. This one don't. And I think that's why I keep mistaking one side for the other. Okay, so we're going to do that. I'm actually going to turn it over and I'm going to do the other side too. That way I don't have to worry about the backing. But because this is so thin, you want to make sure you're pretty much smooth right from the get-go, because you're not going to be able to do a whole lot of sanding without taking these flowers off. Wow, I just can't get a nice little cut right there, can I? And you probably can go smaller than, or thinner than a number 2 on the base, since you're putting it on both sides. That made that a little too thick. Get me even again. I'm just going to grab that little piece. Put that right there. And again, I'd have to go back to my crappy blades. I'm just going to lay that right there. I think 2 more pieces should cover it. There we go. 1 more should do it. And the reason, here we go again, the reason you want it really thin is it'll show the peacock blue underneath. If you go too thick, you won't see that much of the background. So that's why you want to go thin. I'm going to cut that off right there. Okay. And I'm just going to even it by, gosh darn it, I can't believe I've done this a million times and still haven't learned. And I'll do one on that very end, although I don't think I'm going to even need that end. Okay, so now all you're going to do is smooth that down. And because it's in a strip instead of individual flowers just set on there, it'll be a lot easier to work this into your clay instead of individually doing each one. Okay, now there's a thin piece right there. I don't know why. So I'm going to cut 1 more strip. Put that right there. Hopefully that'll even it out. If not, I still got to turn it around and do the other side. So hopefully that'll put enough pressure on that. See, this side's already done. So now we're going to do this, or you can use your rubber stamp. And this just helps gets it all even from end to end, as long as you're putting direct pressure on all of it. A little bit right there. This is a little harder for me to grip, which is why I like using the stamp. Alright, so let me look at the other side 1 more time. Okay. Doesn't really matter where I lay it down, does it? I wish I could get the roundness on both sides, but I could afterwards just by flattening the top a little bit. So you can do that. These are really springy. These are going to be really pretty, I think. I think they're going to be really pretty spring earrings. Going to leave the circle in there if I can, because then it keeps the shape. But I want to show you both sides. Okay, so you won't have to finish those. Alrighty. So look at that. We got some really pretty spring earrings. And it's all nice. It's all smooth. So I really don't have a whole lot of sanding. Now for some reason that area is still, I can see that, plain as day. There's like a dip right there. So what are you going to do if that happens? Well, just going to grab a little more, I guess. Because I really don't want that dip. Okay. It won't ruin the rest of your earring. I'm literally going to go one more. I like that color, so I'm just going to leave it just like that. I'll set that right there. Okay, and then I'm just going to put this right back in to kind of clean up the mess I just made. I'll worry about the inside after it comes out of the oven. I don't want to lift it. Actually, I can leave that there too, let it bake, and then we'll deal with that part when it comes out. Alright, so there's those. We're going to throw those in the oven with the rest of them, and we'll see you in about, probably about 45 minutes to an hour. Alrighty guys, we are back, and I'm going to make this quick because we are a little over an hour on this video. Really sorry about that. You know what happens when I get to talking? I don't stop. But anyways, these just need to be a little bit sanded on the sides. But I just wanted to show you how those came out. They're still a little wet. Okay, but there are our little flower rings. I love this. It gives it such a springy. I don't really care for this right here, so we're going to do some sanding over this top area because it sits a little high. But look at my hoops, guys. They are the same size. I cannot believe it. But look at how cute those look. I know I don't have a great place to put these, and I couldn't find any earring holders. But anyways, those are our hoops. So that's them hanging up. And we'll just take one of these off, and I'll show you that. So one thing I love about doing the posts that way is they are embedded in the clay. They are not coming out, so you don't have to worry about the glue coming off or nothing. You got these cute, adorable little flower hoops, and I am so happy with these because my first hoops I've made. Now I'm on a kick. I think I'm going to have to make a couple more, but that's it for tonight. So seriously, I really would like you to tell me if you want me to list these. I'm going to tell you right now, these aren't going to be cheap. They're not going to be $2 or $3. And it's not as much as what they're made out of. It's more as the time. So each one of these, this might take 45 minutes, but I think these take over an hour or 2 hours to print. And so I usually charge by how long it takes. Like my rollers, they're $11.50. Those take anywhere from 2.5 to 3.5 hours to print just one. So I'll have to see how these print, how fast they are, and I'll try and keep them as cheap as I can. They're great, but if you can do it by hand, do it by hand. The only reason I use it is because of the fact that I'm consistent. By cutting it out that way, look at that. We've got the exact same size earring. And so I don't have to guess if they're both folded the right way or anything. It gives me that perfect shape every time. So let me know in the comments if you want me to list them, and I will. I am going to talk to you later. I'm going to go upload this, and hopefully I can get it up tonight. And I will see you in a couple of days. Have a wonderful rest of the weekend. Only a couple hours left. For some of you, it's already Monday morning. So we'll see you next time. Bye.